Good Vibes Only is here to take you on a journey to discover the weird and wacky world of wellness. It's brought to you by the globally renowned skin and wellness expert Marie Reynolds, who holds over 36 years of experience within the skin and wellbeing industry. Each week, Marie shares her own holistic lifestyle hacks and chats to other leading wellness experts to find out their good vibe story, discussing how they deal with day-to-day stress, anxiety, sleep, and skin issues. Listen in as Marie explores why, when it comes to our health and wellness, we need to look beyond the linear, question the norm, and think outside the box.
Today, I'm joined by a gorgeous pairing of Claire Ashton and Tracey Winterbourne. These two wonderful women have formed a company called ATTA Life. I first want to hand over to Claire and Tracey to introduce themselves and to tell us how they created this beautiful company.
Where do we start?
Water brought us together.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, we wanted to have something that we knew was structured and clean. It was this little mission to find what is the best water. And it was just two friends.
Yeah.
And from there, the water flow just come through. And then we found Analemma. And from there, ATTA came, didn't it?
Actually, we're a new company. It's been insane. Like the knowledge that we've learned just in the last year we've always been learning. We're both of us in different sort of parts of the health industry, but it's fundamentally changed since we found the Analemma. Hugely.
Yeah, it's an eye-opener when you start looking at water and structured water and energy. But Claire, what is your background, first of all? And then Tracey, we'll talk about your background, and then we'll talk about ATTA Life.
So what got me into the health industry is I was told that I couldn't have children. I had immature follicles. I'd have to start going through loads of hormone therapy. And I just had this knowing inside that wasn't right. And there was going to be a way. And I knew it. And then I just started finding some amazing people that popped up out of the woodwork, as they do at that time. Studied with the Czech Institute. So understood all the holistic teachings from Paul Czech, and then went down a huge learning curve. And now I have two beautiful boys.
Oh,
so
wonderful.
All that natural, and they're amazing. That's what sort of got me onto this journey. But I'm very much now interested in bioresonance and frequency medicine. Sort of started off with a very small device and got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Once you get down that wormhole, it's hard to get out. It is a wonderful wormhole. I'm constantly going through the twists and turns of it, and I love it.
Yeah. Well, I think I emailed you and said, "Oh, what machine have you got?"
Yes, it is amazing, and the things that you can do with not only water but with oil and obviously with the human body. So Tracey, introduce yourself and what your background is and how you started this ATTA Life.
So my journey really was the beauty industry. So leaving school, going down that, I want to be a beauty therapist, and then working for all the glamorous companies as well, the big brands. And from there, it all went full circle, come back to, well, what is it that I actually want to do? Nothing felt right. I wanted to come back to that place of service. That's always been my thing. How can I support people and do a lot of healing work, energy work as well? It just, this little mix of all these different wonderful things that were all in my heart that I loved, I wanted to offer back. The frequency side, that sort of come with meeting Claire. This is when I've followed you for a long, long time. So when me and Claire got together and were chatting about water, and then ATTA came to be, it's like, you to me, Marie, because she's like half me, half you. So I know, as a facialist, I never did anything aesthetically. It was always very holistic, you know, that approach. There was nothing nasty going on. So, and that's where you are, this beauty. I feel like you are like part of ATTA in that way. You hold that really strong, that presence. It's beautifully.
It's interesting you talk about it not resonating with you within the beauty industry. I always felt that way as well. Going through the motions of doing certain treatments, it just didn't feel right. And my understanding and how the skin reacted, you had to deal with the inside. But it's not just the inside in diet and lifestyle, it's energy. Energy is a precursor of all physical manifestations. So when I saw what you did, it was like, oh my God, this is just another thing that I need to have within my realm. It is amazing. So ATTA Life was born. Now, explain to the listeners what ATTA Life is, the platform that it is, and what it offers.
Well, our mission is to help people have a happy, healthy, and healed life.
Fundamentally, yeah.
That's really where we come.
The market is flooded with so many different things. And the more we learn, like you've just said, the more you come back to energy and frequency and water and light. And it's so fundamental. So I don't think we started off like that, but I think it's evolved to that learning and that teaching. The more we realize that energy, it
blows your mind.
It blows your mind. It really does.
And the biggest thing we wanted as well, though, to be able to offer this to people online, because it was all around the time where people couldn't get out and couldn't do the things they were normally doing. So what service can we give? What else can we do where people can get education, where they can get things to support them? Obviously, the NLP came into that, didn't it? At the beginning of that was our almost our little start. There you go. And then from there, it was about what can we do online? How can we help people heal themselves?
I'm going to introduce now the analemma. So I saw a post about the analemma and I just was instantly hooked, because what I find it interesting when people, if they can't touch, see or feel a thing, it's not real. So all they see visually is just a glass vial with just a little bit of water inside it, and they can't get their head around what it does. So obviously I know about what it does and how it restructures, but I want you girls to explain what it is and how it actually changes the taste of your water is nuts. So explain to us what analemma is and the background behind it.
So the analemma was founded about 15 years ago. So it's a long journey and there's an awful lot of research behind it.
And science
behind it. It's a glass vial with the mother water inside, and the mother
crystal.
A crystal vial.
Vial.
And the mother water inside takes a year to make. The mother water is basically the perfect water, the perfect H2O.
The perfect frequency as
perfect frequency. Like I said, it takes a year to make. And when you swirl that water, the analemma, within sort of tap water or any other water that you're using, it changes the coherence because it's the dominant frequency. So when you have a dominant frequency, it will change the frequency within any other liquid. So that's how it works. It's funny actually, because when I first tested it, because obviously we test and try any products that we do have, but I tested it on my son and I said, just taste the two different waters. And he said, oh, this one, it tastes a bit slimy. So because I think it's obviously it's changing it to that hexagonal structure, that EZ water, which is fundamental for our biological systems. Our bodies naturally have water within each cell, and that structured water splits into a positive and a negative charge, and that's what gives us the energy that we need. It's powered by light, those natural electromagnetic frequencies from the sun and the moon and the earth and everything else that's beautiful around us. And it's the water that charges. And so when you're putting coherent water within your body, then you're taking away the need for energy to change it within the body. So you're going to be saving energy. I think it was the biological systems of plants that they tested first, and their energy increased by 300%. So it's exactly the same for us.
We're light beings. It's basically like charging our own batteries.
I mean, the thing is, I think what you have to remember as well, within energy medicine, the water, it's like a memory card. So whatever frequencies are in water, it will change that frequency to that. And this is what I'm always talking about with tap water. Think about where tap water comes from. Now you've got to think about all the people that are on recreational drugs, medication, all of these things. That frequency within that water does change it. So the analemma, when it goes in, it can actually restructure the water to that dominant frequency of what's in that little vial. Now, when we're talking about mother tincture, or the mother frequency, because I spoke to Mario on one of your Insta Lives, it is a specific frequency that is unique to analemma. So it's a specific, let's say, recipe, if you like, that is left to mature and evolve over a year. And then it's placed into this vial that you put into water. You stir the water in it, and it does taste. The only way that I can explain it is it tastes very clean. It tastes like liquid crystal, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Goodness knows how they got to this point. It is just fundamentally amazing, isn't it? It's so good. And research they did before they got to water was on light. They had a special machine where they were looking at seeds and different seeds that are touched by modifications and organic. And they were looking at the light that
emits from it.
So then they started putting water on, and then they saw this sort of like a big bang they talked about, didn't they? And when they put
a big explosion, as they worded it, wasn't it, within the seed?
So it's that communication from the light to the water allowed that seed to then become alive.
It's really interesting because I've just been delving a little bit into the Pythagoras skiing. Have you heard of that? Pythagoras was a philosopher and a mathematician way back when. Pythagoras theory is all based on different mathematical equations. But with the Pythagoras skiing, it's all to do with numbers. And then the numbers go into the solfeggio notes, and the different numbers that link in with different frequencies. And it's almost like a secret code to health, well-being, light, life, frequencies, all sorts of things. And so everything comes back to the Pythagoras skiing. It's unbelievable, even down to somatics, which I know that you know about, the different vibrations that form different structures that link in with water, imprinting water, and link in with how that imprints within the human body. So it's just unbelievable when you start looking back and seeing all of these different patterns and different frequencies that they all come back to life itself. So
I feel like we're just at the beginning of this insane journey at the moment, and I feel like the world is going to evolve to know a lot more about this. I don't know if it's just you track what you put out, but the things that are coming to us at the moment, all the technology, exciting technology, but also the people that are starting to uncover all these ancient teachings that are just
so poignant,
insanely
and so
amazing.
Needed,
like we've just started. I've seen the electroculture where you turn copper wire around sticks and you put them in the ground.
Oh yeah.
So we've just started doing that, haven't we?
Yeah. I've got a massive copper rod that goes down into my
Yes.
Oh no, that's the copper triangle. I've got the copper pyramid that I sit in, but I've got a copper rod that's drilled quite far down into the earth that comes into the clinic with earthing pads. And as I said, it blows your mind. There's an amazing book called The Fingerprints of the Gods. It is like War and Peace. But even if you just sort of like sit down and just read a couple of pages each day, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, I know. That's another one. You've given me two things to listen to there.
But as I say, it is like a wormhole of all of this knowledge that you find yourself going in. But then you have like this epiphany and you think, oh my God, this is just like such amazing knowledge where you can bring back homeostasis and well-being and as I say, just changing and relearning learned hardwired behaviors, because people just understanding that just changing just little things by implementing this amazing tool into your water every day is fantastic. Tell us about the home system that you have as well.
So they've just brought out the whole house system that's available. They're also bringing out, which is really exciting to me, a garden system.
Fantastic.
And then they're also bringing out an agricultural system, because obviously, as we said before, if you're increasing the energy by 300% of your plants, then obviously that changes.
Especially in Norfolk, in the agricultural sector, it'd be something that all the farmers would be amazingly interested in. I'll have to have a word with my husband because he deals with lots and lots of farmers that end.
It's going to increase the yield of all of the crops. And that's where it actually fundamentally started with the tomato plants. That's where they're first tested before the glycan age and the brain studies. It all went back to plants. That's where this massive explosion of life was first really noted and seen, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it was super exciting. And the biggest thing, going back to the mother water, which is so, so important, is the fact that, as you're aware, Marie, that the mother water is now, how many years is it? 6 years?
Yes.
It will hold that mother water in that coherent, structured, alive state. They're up to 6 years now with the testing. And that is proving so much, because we are bombarded right now, the soil, the earth, us, all of us being bombarded with all these different EMFs. And yet the analemma water, whether it's coming through the swirling, through the baths, through the agriculture, through the garden, it's keeping that coherent state.
Yeah.
And that's not only affecting us, that's affecting our earth.
Yeah, of course it is.
Goes into the microbiome, which I'll leave Claire to talk about because she's a little bit better explaining that side of things than me.
Come on then, Claire, talk about the microbiome.
Well, they've done some new tests. One is on the microbiome. They did a dysbiosis index test. And obviously we know about the microbiome, how it affects the neurotransmitters in the brain, how it can affect how you feel. So there's huge amounts of information just by these beautiful little bacteria that live in our stomach. They tested it for 2 months, a double-blind study on 2 groups of people. Both of them did no other changes other than drink the different waters. So
a litre and a half, that's all it was.
Litre and a half of analemma water. And it just completely improved their gut bacteria by 17%.
Yeah.
So if you think about that after 2 months, you'd think about it over a year. But going back onto the soil, if you're then watering your plants and your soil with this water, how much that then changes the bacteria in the soil. And then, as we know, the bacteria in the soil takes down the carbon, eats the carbon. And obviously it's just a big system of systems that then...
Yes, the macro and the micro. But that's really interesting as well. I'm going to actually start using my analemma on the enema water when I do clinics.
Yeah,
interesting to
that'd
do that.
be really good. Oh, let us know, Marie.
Yeah, no, I will.
They're carrying on studies at the moment in a clinic in America with people bathing in the water. And we haven't got the data yet.
But that's just insane by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
They've had high performance athletes that they've been testing on, and that they've actually found their heart performance
improves so
massively.
It does make sense. I use the bioresonance machine to imprint frequencies within the colonic anyway. I mean, I have the special magnet clips that goes on the pipes going in and the pipes coming out. So, I mean, frequencies I could go on and on and on and drive people insane about. I absolutely am obsessed, which you sound as though you're getting the bug already. It is amazing what frequencies do and how they impact our life, because we are vibrating energetic beings. So it makes sense that you're going to get frequencies that interfere with the cellular communications that bring imbalance. And that's really important that we look at ways in how we can knock out those frequencies and help with health and well-being. And the simplest way, I have to say, is by using, I'm holding up the analemma now, this beautiful, amazing crystal wand that you literally just pop in your water and just stir. And it sounds nuts, but all good things are nuts.
I've found that.
All good things don't make sense. You know, just because you can't see it, it doesn't mean to say it doesn't exist.
Just how you explained it earlier, it's just like it is a memory card.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to explain it.
Yeah.
You'll just pop that into your water and that memory is just imprinted. It's that simple. There's nothing else to second guess. It's just when our mind gets in the way, isn't it?
Exactly. Well, I say this over and over and over again, that we are so hardwired to think in a linear approach. If it's X, then you have to go to Y. But it isn't. It's a complete matrix of all sorts of wonderful, energetic things that are out there that actually implement our health. When I do distance energy therapy, people can't get their heads around that. And you've just got to understand that energy is in the form of quantum. There's no such thing as time and space. You're connected through string theory. And just because you can't touch it, see it and feel it, doesn't mean to say that it isn't there.
We all use our mobile phones. No one cares how they work, do they, really?
Yeah. No. And with sleep, these electrical things in your bedroom, it's so important to get them out. And when people say, oh, I can't have that, I've got to have my phone for my alarm, you can still hear your phone outside at your door. If you've got a small child and you saw your partner put your child to bed with a microwave next to their head, you'd be absolutely mortified. But yet that has got microwaves and radioactive waves and all sorts of gases, and we tend to just see it as an extra appendage, as our life force, that we have to break that cycle.
I think from everything we've learned over the last year, which has been a lot,
yes, it has.
The 3 tools I think I'd have in my life are the analemma, getting out and seeing the sunrise, because the coding and the information that you get from that light in that morning has been life-changing for me.
Yeah.
And then I've forgotten the third.
That's all right. You talk about the sunlight. It's really important in Chinese medicine as well, traditional Chinese medicine, because it's the changing over from the yin to the yang rising, and especially with women are fundamentally yin. So it's really important that those changing and those codings, and again, those Pythagoras skins, all of those different numbers and those frequencies are so important at that time of day. It's my favorite time of day. I get up very early with my dogs and I go walking in the field and leave my phones and everything behind, and it's just absolutely beautiful to reset the mind, body and soul.
Yeah, I think it's been that combination of changing my water with the analemma and then the sunrise. I naturally get up now with the sunrise. My monthly cycle has completely turned to being in tune with the moon or the sun or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's completely changed my energy. It's huge, actually. And I thank the analemma for that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And that's the only thing that they do advise you to do with the analemma is to occasionally charge it up with the sunlight.
Yeah.
What better time to do it than go out in the morning when we get that
with your wand.
and it's
and run around the garden,
you know. Kick your shoes off. Now, obviously, we're okay. It's spring. We're getting a little bit.
That was my third.
Little bit of nicer weather. Kick your shoes off. Feet on the ground.
That was it.
Oh,
I know.
And yeah, it is this last year for me too. I even wake up now before the sunrise. You know, I can hear. It's as if the analemma has almost helped me connect back with the earth.
Yeah.
And that is some of the proof and some of the teachings that they found with this. It's putting you back into that place with the earth. So we are back in resonant with her. And to be in touch with that natural essence that is within all of us.
Actually,
I
was telling a story the other day, and we've got quite a bit of land now, but my husband wanted one of those lawnmowers that you put magnets around the trees and then it kind of directs the lawnmowers where it's a smart lawnmower. And I was like, oh, well, that will save us a bit of mowing. And then all of a sudden I went outside and it was like the trees were like, what are you doing? You can't do that to us. But I do think that the analemma puts you so much in touch with nature that you can almost hear it. It's changed hugely in my life in that respect.
It's not woo-woo to me. I moved to Norfolk. I call Norfolk my soul medicine. And we've got a lovely little field there and we've got lots of trees. And you've got to really understand that just as much as the trees are part of the field, they're part of us because we're connected with the mycelium when we put our feet on the ground. The mycelium is the wood wide web and they all connect with one another and
they look after each other and they talk to each other. So they talk to us.
Exactly. And what is really lovely is if one tree is failing, they send the messages along the mycelium to the neighboring larger tree to send its energy to help with that growth. It's fantastic that we've got this technology because we're doing this now, but also it has made many people very disconnected from each other, disconnected from just talking and hugging and just getting to know one another, and also disconnected from the earth. So it's really important to make sure that you can do these little things to connect with one another and connect with the earth. It's not woo-woo. People only call it woo-woo when they don't understand. It's easy for people to bastardize what we do because they can't get their head around it. But once you explain to people, you can see the penny drop and it's like, oh yeah, actually that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but I just want to congratulate you both. And I have to say that as a therapist, not only just in skin and well-being, but frequencies, I am so proud to have known you and get to know you, and it's just so lovely.
Because you're talking about connection and everything, and if it hadn't have been for me following you and then me getting to know Claire through the sort of lockdown period, this connection wouldn't have come, and wouldn't have come. There's so many blessings if we choose to see them and hear them and look for them.
Exactly right. No, it's an absolute pleasure and a blessing. And as I say, I'm a great fan, and whatever I can do to support you girls, I'll always do that because it's something that I believe in and it's something that I support. So well done and congratulations.
Thank you.
It really does.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us today. For people that want to come and see the analemma and what it's all about, I will put a link below this podcast so that you can have a little look. But I would highly, highly recommend just trying the one to start off with. I am going to be getting the personal water system, and I'm certainly going to be telling my husband about the agricultural side, because he speaks to loads and loads of farmers.
Amazing.
And the more farmers that use it, obviously we benefit as well. So
yes, we do. 100%.
Thank you, ladies. I appreciate you both and appreciate all your time spent today.
Well, thank you, Marie. Lovely to chat to you.
That's it for this week's Good Vibes Only episode. But there's plenty more wholesome, holistic information where that came from. Check out Marie's website, www.mariereynolds.london.com, or follow Marie on socials. For Marie's products, follow at Marie Reynolds London on Instagram and Facebook, and at Marie Reynolds_London on TikTok. You can also follow Marie's day-to-day content on Instagram. Follow at Marie Reynolds_MRL. Thank you so much for listening to Good Vibes Only. If you've enjoyed this episode, we'd love for you to subscribe to and review the podcast wherever you listen to them. And remember to share the episode too. See you next time.